I died on my wedding day, choking on the bitter taste of betrayal as the pills slid down my throat like tiny executioners. The last thing I saw was my husband's face, smirking, not from the altar, but from the shadows of our so-called perfect life he'd just torched. And my parents? They weren't there to stop it, because they chose a goddamn golf tournament over walking me down the aisle. Now, as my eyes snapped open in the cramped bathroom of my old apartment, staring at the same cracked mirror from 3 years ago, I realized the impossible. I'd been given a do-over. A second chance to claw my way back from the grave and make every last one of them pay. It was the morning of my bridal shower. The air thick with the scent of cheap vanilla candles and the faint rot of regret already seeping into my bones. My reflection stared back, 28, wide-eyed, with that same auburn hair I'd later dye black to hide from the world. But this time, I knew. Every scar from the future etched into my soul like invisible tattoos. The shower invite crumpled in my fist, RSVPs from friends who'd ghost me post-scandal, and my parents' excuse email glowing on my phone. Sweetie, the Masters is once in a lifetime. We'll celebrate later. Later. As if there'd been a later after the noose tightened around my neck, metaphorically. Then literally, when the overdose hit, I splashed water on my face, the cold shock grounding me. This wasn't a dream. The date on my phone confirmed it, June 15th, 2022. 3 years before the end. My heart hammered like a freight train, memories flooding in Technicolor horror. Mark, my fiancé, with his all-American grin and venture capital swagger, whispering sweet nothings while siphoning my inheritance into his crypto scams. My parents, Evelyn and Harold, the epitome of WASP entitlement, who'd always treated me like the family ATM rather than their daughter. They'd skipped the wedding not just for golf, but because deep down, they resented me for succeeding without their guidance. And the secret? The one that unraveled everything? Mark wasn't just cheating, he was in bed with my own father, cooking up a scheme to bankrupt me and frame it as my poor choices. I laughed then, a jagged sound echoing off the tiles. Revenge tasted like iron on my tongue. But this time, I'd play it smart. No rash moves. I'd build an empire from the ashes of their lies. Make them watch as I rose. Untouchable. First step, ditch the wedding. Second, expose the rot without getting my hands dirty. And third, let them come crawling when they saw what I'd become. The bridal shower was at that overpriced vineyard in Napa Valley, ironic, given how much wine it'd take to drown the bullshit. I drove up in my beat-up Honda, the one Mark always mocked, windows down to let the coastal fog whip my hair into a frenzy. Friends milled about under string lights, sipping rose from plastic flutes, their laughter brittle as they cooed over my ring. Sarah, my so-called best friend, air-kissed my cheeks. Autumn. You glow. Mark's a keeper. Keeper of what? My trust fund? I smiled, tight-lipped, scanning the crowd. No parents, of course. Their absence was a black hole sucking the joy from the air. As the afternoon wore on, the games turned saccharine, pin the veil on the bride, predict the sex of our future kids. I played along, but my mind raced ahead. In the original timeline, this was where the cracks showed, Mark's phone buzzing with texts from investors, my dad's cryptic call about tightening belts. I'd ignored it all, too blinded by Tool and vows. Now, I excused myself to the restroom, locking the door and pulling out my laptop. Time to dig. A quick search on Mark's company, Vanguard Ventures, pulled up the filings. buried in the SEC docs. There it was, my father's name as a silent partner. Harold freaking Whitaker, the retired banker who'd sworn off risky tech. They'd been laundering my future inheritance through shell companies, planning to pin the collapse on me when I mismanaged the family estate after their sudden health scare. The health scare that never happened because I offed myself first, leaving them the keys to the kingdom. My fingers trembled as I screenshotted everything. Not yet. Evidence first, fireworks later. I rejoined the party, toasting with a glass I barely sipped. To new beginnings, I said, locking eyes with Sarah. She blinked, confused in her world. I was still the blushing bride. But I saw the flicker, her own complicity. The affair she'd start with Mark 6 months post-wedding.
Bitch.
By evening, as the sun dipped into the Pacific, I was back in my apartment,
Packing.
not for the honeymoon, but for war. I called off the wedding via a mass text. Change of heart. Autumn out. Phones exploded, Mark's first. A barrage of WTFs and we can fix this. Then Sarah. Girl, you okay? My parents' landline rang unanswered. They were probably on the 18th hole. Oblivious. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I wired every cent from our joint account, $50K, his seed money, into an offshore crypto wallet. Poetic justice. By dawn, I was on a flight to New York, resume in hand, crashing on a cousin's couch in Brooklyn. The city hit me like a caffeine for, horns blaring, sidewalks pulsing with ambition. No more West Coast complacency. I'd reinvent myself here, brick by brick. First job interview, a junior analyst gig at a boutique investment firm in Midtown. The boss, a sharp-eyed Latina named Carla, eyed my Napa Valley glow like it was a red flag. Why the sudden move? Yes. Whitaker? I leaned in, voice steady. Family drama. Needed a clean slate. She hired me on the spot, sensing the fire. 6 months in, I was crunching numbers on hedge funds, spotting patterns others missed. My old life, a ghost. Mark's calls went to voicemail. I blocked my parents after one slurred plea from Mom. Come home, honey. Weddings can wait, but revenge simmers slow. I watched from afar. Social media, my spyglass. Mark's posts turned frantic, funds drying up, pivoting to NFTs that tanked. Sarah dumped him for a barista. Karma's a fickle friend. And my parents? Their Instagram stayed polished. Charity galas.
Golf retreats.
Until the first crack, Dad's minor heart episode, conveniently timed for sympathy donations. I knew the play, milk it for investors, then bail. A year blurred by in spreadsheets and sleepless nights. I climbed. Senior analyst, then portfolio manager. Bonuses stacked like Jenga blocks. By spring 2023, I had $200,000 socked away. Enough for a down payment on a 1-bedroom in Chelsea. No Porsche yet. That was the crown jewel. But the hook was set. New York chewed me up and spat me out stronger. Every subway rattle a reminder that survival wasn't polite. It was primal. I'd traded silk bridesmaid dresses for power suits. My auburn waves chopped into a no-nonsense bob. Carla became my mentor. Her tough love quips like, don't let him see you bleed. Autumn, my new mantra. At work, I was a shark in heels, shorting stocks that smelled like Mark's scams from a mile away. But nights, that's when the ghosts whispered. I'd jolt awake, tasting those pills again. The hotel room spinning as Mark's laughter echoed from the bathroom where he'd hidden the evidence. I started therapy, not the fluffy kind,
But the raw.
billable hours version with a shrink who didn't flinch at, "I want to bury them alive."
Dr.
Reyes nodded, scribbling notes. Revenge is a dish best served structured. What's your endgame? Endgame. I hadn't named it yet, but it crystallized one rainy Tuesday. Make them see me thrive, then shatter their facade.
Publicly.
Painfully. Step 1. Amplify the silence. I went radio dark on family holidays, sending e-cards with passive-aggressive flair, wishing you fairways and green jackets, while funneling tips to a financial blogger about Vanguard's shady dealings. Anonymous. Of course. The posts went viral. Is this Silicon Valley darling a Ponzi in disguise? Mark's funding rounds evaporated. He pivoted to consulting, code for couch surfing. My parents noticed peripherally. A stiff Christmas card arrived. No check enclosed. Proud of your independence.
Dear.
Independence? That's what they called starving their daughter to feed their egos. Dad's heart issues escalated in the press, local paper fluff pieces on his battle, complete with GoFundMe for medical debts. Bullshit. I cross-referenced. The money funneled straight to Vanguard residuals. Evelyn, ever the socialite, played victim on Facebook, supporting my husband through it all. Family first. #blessed. I screenshotted. Filed away. By late 2023, I was poached by Goldman Sachs, junior VP. 7 figures in play. The corner office overlooked Times Square. Neon chaos, a balm for my scars. Colleagues whispered about the mystery girl from Cali, but I owned it. West Coast washed out. East Coast built me. Carla threw a low-key bash at a speakeasy in the Village, toasting with Manhattans. To Autumn Whitaker, the bitch who bit back. We clinked, and for the first time, I felt the weight lift, not gone, but shared. That's when I bought the Porsche. Not impulse, calculated. I'd eyed the 911 Carrera online for months. Black as midnight. Options maxed. $135,000 sticker. Financed with my bonus like it was pocket change. Delivery day. I stood in the dealership on Park Avenue. Rain slicking the pavement. Key fob heavy in my palm. The salesman, a slick kid named Tyler,
Grinned.
First ride. MS. Whitaker. I slid in, leather cradling me like a throne. Engine roar drowned the doubts. I peeled out, weaving through traffic. Wind howling my name. I posted it that night, Instagram. Public for the first time in years. No caption. Just the car gleaming under Manhattan lights. My silhouette in the driver's seat. City skyline blurred behind. Likes trickled. Then flooded. Colleagues. Old acquaintances. Even a few Napa holdovers. But the real hit? My parents. Evelyn commented first. Heart emoji. Innocuous. Then a DM. Darling. A Porsche? How extravagant. Your father and I saw it pop up. Call us. Extravagant. From the woman who'd once borrowed my college tuition for a kitchen reno. I let it stew. Mark liked it too. A thirsty double tap. Sarah reposted with slay.
Queen.
Hypocrite. The call came 2 days later. Evelyn's number flashing like a warning flare. I answered on the 5th ring. Voice cool as the leather seats. Autumn?
Oh.
Thank God. We saw the car, online. Can you believe?
It's
Stunning. Her tone dripped honeyed concern. The kind that masked vipers. That okay? I asked, knowing the script. A pause. Then Harold's gravelly voice patched in. Sweetheart, the ticker's steady, but doctors say stress is killer. That post. It's got folks talking. About you.
Us. Us.
As if I'd ever been part of their equation. Talking how? Evelyn jumped in. Rehearsed. Well, the golf crowd, you know. The Bennetts saw it and asked why we skipped the wedding. Weddings. Plural. And now this flashy car. It looks like you're rubbing it in. Honey, rubbing it in. The audacity ignited something feral. Skipped the wedding, I echoed. Slow. You mean the one you bailed on for birdies and bogeys? While Mark and I footed the bill. Silence. Thick as fog. Harold cleared his throat. Water under the bridge. But family sticks.
Autumn.
Come visit. We'll explain. Explain. Like I hadn't pieced it together. Busy building an empire.
Dad.
Send pics of the greens. I hung up, pulse thundering. The call they regretted? This was just the appetizer. But it cracked the dam. Invites poured in, podcasts wanting my rags to riches story. Reporters sniffing for dirt on Vanguard. I demurred. Biding time. Winter hit hard. Blizzards burying the city in white. I thrived in the cold, closing deals that padded my portfolio to 8 figures. Therapy evolved. Less rage. More strategy.
Dr.
Reyes posed the ethical bomb. Revenge destroys two, them and you. What's the line? The line? Blurred long ago. But one decision loomed. Controversial as hell. Go public with the affair. Not just Mark's infidelity, but the family ties. Expose Dad's silent partnership as the fraud it was. It'd torch bridges. Maybe land me in court. But silence? That had been my grave. Spring 2024 bloomed toxic. Cherry blossoms mocking the rot in my veins. Goldman had me jetting to board meetings in Dubai. Davos, places where power pulsed like a second heartbeat. I was Autumn Whitaker now. Not the girl who'd begged for parental approval. Whispers followed. She's ruthless.
Good.
Ruthless got results. A biotech short I called netted the firm $10 million. My cut bought a Pied Terra in the Hamptons. Ocean views for plotting solitude. The parents' calls escalated, weekly now. Laced with urgency. Evelyn's voicemails. Autumn. Your father's episodes are worsening. We need you. Harold's baritone. Pride's a fool's game.
Kiddo.
Pride? They'd auction mine for stock tips. I archived them. Fuel for the fire. Mark resurfaced too. LinkedIn messages begging closure. Closure? I'd give him a headstone. Sarah. Ever the opportunist. Slid into my DMs. Coffee? Miss you. I agreed. Neutral ground. A cafe in Soho. Exposed brick and overpriced lattes. She arrived flustered. Botox fresh. Hugging like we were sorority sisters. AUT? That car. You're killing it. We small-talked startups. She was influencing now. Hawking detox teas. Then the probe, the wedding thing. Still stings. I sipped. Eyes level. Stings? Try poisoned. Her laugh died. I laid it out, not all. Just enough. Mark's double dip. The funds vanishing. Her face drained.
I
suspected. But he said you were unstable. Unstable. The word from my suicide note.
Twisted by them.
I leaned in. Suspected.
Huh?
Like when you two hooked up at my bachelorette. She choked on her almond milk.
How?
Busted. In the timeline, it had been post-mortem gossip.
Now.
Preemptive strike. Doesn't matter. Stay out of my lane, Sarah. I left her sputtering, the seed of doubt planted. By week's end, her stories unfollowed me, petty, but predictable. The real storm brewed at home. A journalist from Bloomberg emailed her rumblings on Whitaker Investments. Care to comment? Dad's old firm. Rebranded post-retirement. I forwarded it to my lawyer. A pitbull named Lena from Harlem who'd clawed her way up on cases like mine. Slander suit incoming, she warned. But truth's your shield. You got docs. Piled high. We prepped a dossier. Emails. Transfers. Even a recorded call from the original timeline I'd miraculously saved on an old drive. Controversial? Hell yes, releasing it meant dragging family laundry through headlines, painting me as the vengeful daughter. Public would split, Team Autumn or ungrateful brat. But the alternative? Let them win. The call they regretted dropped like a bomb on a humid July evening. I'd just landed from London, jet-lagged in my Porsche, crawling through Tribeca traffic. Phone buzzed, unknown number. But the area code screamed Marin County. I answered, Bluetooth echoing. Autumn Whitaker.
Autumn. It's
the Bennetts. You remember? From the club? Mrs. Bennett. Social arbiter. Voice syrup over gravel. We saw your car online. Gorgeous. But Evelyn's in a state. Harold's in the hospital again. They say it's the stress. From you.
me.
The plot twist in their soap opera. Stress from what? Exactly? A hesitation. Then word vomit. The wedding skip, folks are talking. And that post. It's like you're flaunting success while they're struggling. Evelyn called us in tears, begging for advice. We told her to reach out. But I was the villain now. I pulled over, engine idling like my fury. Advice? Tell her the truth. They bet on the wrong horse. Mark's a fraud. Dad's his puppet master. And me? I'm the one who walked away. Silence. Then a gasp.
We.
Had no idea. Harold always spoke so highly of his Mark. I hung up, screenshotting the call log. Lena got it immediately. Leverage. But careful, this paints you cold. Cold? I'd been ice since the shower. The decision crystallized. Leak selectively. I tipped the Bloomberg guy anonymously Vanguard docs. Redacted for deniability. Headlines hit dawn. Tech darlings' empire crumbles. Family ties exposed. Mark's photo splashed. Dad's mentioned in grainy obits. Evelyn's Facebook went dark. Harold checked into rehab. For stress management, panic calls flooded. I let Evelyn's go to VM. Autumn.
Please.
It's all falling apart. Your father. He confesses everything was for you. To build legacy. Legacy. There's not mine. I called back. Once. Voice steel. Legacy? You skipped my wedding for a game. Then tried to steal my future. Enjoy the fairway from the bunker. The controversy erupted. Fox News op-ed. Is success revenge porn? TikToks dissected my glow-up, half cheering the boss babe, half slut-shaming the daddy's girl gone rogue. Protests? Not pickets. But Twitter storms, Whitaker Watch trending. I went on a podcast. The Cutthroat Corner, spilling measured truth. Betrayal isn't a plot twist, it's a choice. I chose survival. Viewership spiked, offers rolled, book deals, TED Talks. But the toll? Sleepless nights,
Dr.
Rhea's upping sessions.
You're winning, she said.
But at what cost?
Cost?
Their empire in ruins. Mine ascending. Worth it. Fall painted the city in fire, reds and golds mirroring the blaze I'd ignited. Goldman promoted me to director. A corner suite with Hudson views where I'd pace, plotting the endgame. The Porsche became my chariot, parked curbside like a dare. Paparazzi snapped me exiting. Headlines twisting. Heiress's revenge ride. I leaned in, posting more, me at galas sans family. Deals closing with champagne pops. Each click a nail in their coffin. Mark cracked first. A desperate email. AUT. It was business. Your dad pushed.
Meat?
Coffee. Closure. Closure. I agreed. Neutral. A diner in Hell's Kitchen. Formica tables scarred like my trust. He arrived gaunt. Brooks Brothers rumpled. Eyes darting. You look powerful. Flattery. His old trick. I slid across from him. Coffee black. Cut the shit.
Mark.
How much did you skim? He blinked. Then deflated. Not skim, invest. Harold said you'd inherit anyway. We were building his escape hatch. I pulled out my phone, playing the leaked audio, his voice, slurring to Dad, kids clueless. We'll gaslight her into the loony bin if needed.
His face ashed.
Where'd you? Future's a bitch, I said. Half-truth. He begged. Forgiveness. A job reference. I laughed. Reference? Tell the world you're the reason I walked. Or I dropped the rest. The rest, Sarah's texts. His escorts. He signed an NDA on a napkin, crumbling as I left. Small fry. The parents' regret call was the symphony's crescendo. Halloween night. Trick-or-treaters banging doors. My phone lit up, Evelyn.
Sobbing. Autumn. God.
The hospital. Harold's had a stroke. Doctors say it's the scandal. Please.
Come home.
We're ruined. Ruined. The word I'd whispered in the dark. I gripped the wheel. Porsche humming in the garage. Ruined how? Mom? GoFundMe dry? Country club blackball. A hitch. It's more. The Bennetts. They confronted us after your call. Everything's out, the investments. The wedding lie. We said it was for you.
But
it wasn't. Confession. Finally. But laced with venom. You were always the golden child.
Autumn.
We gave you everything. And you throw it back. Everything? Tuition loans. Emotional voids. You skipped my wedding. Let Mark gut me. For what? Legacy. Silence. Then Harold. Weak. We regretted it daily. That call to the Bennetts. We thought it'd pull you back. But it backfired. Now, we're the villains. Villains. My mirror. You are. But here's the twist. I don't need your absolution. I hung. Blocking forever. Lena advised restraint. Suits incoming, defamation. I countersued. Pro bono for women's shelters. Turning pain to purpose. The high came crashing in Davos. TED stage. Spotlights hot. 2,000 suits hanging on from betrayal to billions. I owned it. The skip. The scam. The rebirth. Applause thundered. Book auction hit 7 figures. Backstage. A producer pitched a docuseries, Autumn Unbroken. I greenlit. Directing the narrative, no holds barred. Controversy peaked. Women's mags hailed me feminist icon. Conservative rags called me family destroyer. Protests erupted small. Outside my building, signs like forgive and forget versus justice for Autumn. Cops cordoned. I watched from the penthouse. Wine in hand.
Dr.
Reyes warned burnout. Revenge's high fades. What's next?
Next, peace.
Maybe. But the twist loomed. Unbidden. A letter arrived. Unmarked. Dad scrawl.
Knew you'd win.
But the real secret? You're not ours. Adopted. Hidden to secure the will. Mark was to expose it. Bankrupt the lie. We skipped the wedding to stop you. You deserved better than our blood.
Blood.
Not mine. The room spun. I crumpled it. But truth clawed in.
Adopted?
Their resentment explained. Imposter syndrome weaponized. I confronted via video. Their hospital room sterile. Evelyn wept. We loved you. In our way. Harold nodded. Tubes snaking. Regret the call most. Bennett spread it. We lost everything. I stared. Fractured. Everything? You lost me years ago. The High Court. Drop the suit? Or burn it down? Controversial choice. Expose the adoption publicly? Rewrite my origin? I chose fire. Winter 2024-25 sealed the saga in ice. New York a frozen fortress against the fallout. The docuseries dropped on Netflix. Trailer alone crashed servers. Autumn's ascent, from Isle to Empire. Viewers binged. 50 million in week 1. Interviews poured. Oprah whispered healing. Joe Rogan grilled ruthless. I answered raw. Ruthless is surviving when they bet against you. The adoption bomb detonated in episode 6, Grainy Records. My baby photo beside strangers. Twitter imploded. Not my blood trending. Memes of me as the ultimate plot twist. Feminists rallied. Adoption advocates decried privacy breach. Lena spun it. Empowerment arc. But privately, it gutted me. Dr. Reyes sessions doubled. Who are you without their shadow? Without?
Free.
I traced bio routes, a faded lead to Ohio. A teacher mom who died young. No siblings. But closure in anonymity. The Porsche stayed garaged. I drove a hybrid now. Eco-guilt from the spotlight. Success snowballed. Whitaker Wealth. My firm. Valued at $50 million. Staff. All women. All underdogs. The parents' final act was pathetic, a press release. We support Autumn's journey. Regrets abound. Too late. Harold stabilized. Discharged to a modest condo, Evelyn sold the McMansion. Funding reparations to scam victims. The call they'd regretted? That Bennett dial. Unraveling their web.
Now.
They faded. Occasional sightings at AA meetings. Ghosts of privilege.
Mark?
Vanished to Reno. Reinventing as a life coach. Sarah's influencer gig tanked, last I heard. Whitersing in LA. Small consolations. Chow Treo hit Spring 25, the gala. Met steps. Chandeliers dripping wealth. I arrived solo. Emerald gown hugging curves time and ambition had honed. Cameras flashed, whispers hushed. Then, them, Evelyn and Harold, uninvited. Crashing like bad karma. Security hovered. I waved them off. Let 'em. They approached. Evelyn frail in pearls, Harold Kane leaning. Autumn, she breathed. We had to see you. The series. It hurt. But truth heals. Heals. I sipped champagne. Steady. Truth? You built a lie. Skipped my day to preserve it. That Portia post? Your wake-up. The call? Your undoing. Harold's eyes watered. We regretted it the second the Bennets hung up. Lost the club.
Friends.
You. Lost me? They never had. Decision time, the controversial fork. Forgive on stage. Humanize? Or eviscerate? Seal the villainous? The crowd watched Mike's hot. I chose gray. Family isn't blood or betrayal. It's choice. I choose forward. No hugs, but a nod, release without absolution. They shuffled out, backs bent. Twist landed post-gala, a DNA match pinged, a half-sister. Bio-mom sighed, thriving in Chicago as a prof. We met over Zoom. Awkward laughs melting to tears. Always wondered, she said. Real kin. Untainted. The end? Not fairy tale. But fitting. Summer 25. I sold the Porsche. Too symbolic for a Tesla. Zipping to boardrooms. Whitaker wealth hit unicorn. I keynote at Davos. Revenge. Overrated. Rebirth? Eternal.
DR.
Reyes toasted at my victory dinner. If you didn't just survive, you redefined. Parents? Last postcard. Proud from afar. Love. ENH. I framed it. Beside the baby photo. Regrets their chain. Freedom's mine. As fog rolled over the Hudson, I drove into dawn. Engine hum a hymn to second chances. No more graves. Just roads. Endless and mine.